By the way, if you're doing between Windows and Linux like I'm doing right now, which means you're using Linux and Windows on the same computer, you can access the files that you have on Windows from Linux, which is very nice. Let's go to users, my user wallpapers, and boom, we can join a wallpaper. Very nice. That tells a lot. Ooh, now my GPU shows up. Does this mean that I can scale my display? No. At least now it shows up. Welcome to Update Manager. This tool provides your operating system with software and security updates. Ooh, this might update everything, and maybe that fixes the display settings issue. Boom! Okay, reboot required. So I'm going to restart and hopefully it's fixed. And we're back in. For some reason the welcome screen is back, and the moment of truth, that's not good. I still can't change the resolution or the refresh rate. Can I set a different scaling other than 100 or 200? No, perfect. Just what I like to see. So I'm going to stick with trying to solve this issue first, and once I do, and I will not quit until I do, because I had this working before on my laptop with an NVIDIA GPU, which is supposed to be worse for Linux, and now I have an AMD GPU, which is supposed to be easier. Okay, what I've gathered so far is that if I see driver and A, and here, inside of system information, next to my graphics card, I can see Sapphire driver and A, and here it also says ASUS driver and A, which means that the kernel did not load the driver. At least now I know what's happening. Open source drivers, including Intel and AMD, are included in the Linux kernel. In most cases, when these drivers do not load, it means the kernel currently being used is too old to have the necessary drivers. Okay, this seems promising. Let's go into Update Manager, view Linux kernels. I've obviously been here before, and I need the 6.5 kernel, which is this one, install, I suppose. Boing, maybe this works. Okay, let's restart and see what happens now. We're back. The startup screen is again here. Show this dialog on startup. That's why it keeps reappearing. And again, the moment of truth. Wait, I think the refresh rate is higher. Let's go. After like an hour and a half, I finally fixed the first issue. Finally, I can change my display resolution. What happens if I do 150 scaling? Yes, it works. Oh, okay. We have successfully infiltrated the Linux operating system, and I can finally start messing around. It only took minimal troubleshooting. Okay, so let's start with the start menu. I don't think it's called the start menu. And here there are a bunch of pinned things like the Firefox browser, the software manager, which helps you install different applications, settings, the terminal, and your file system. So let's first head into the settings and explore what we can do here. Backgrounds. There are a bunch of included backgrounds. Of course, I'm going to use my background. Let's go into effects. New windows or unminimizing existing ones. Traditional, fly, move. Let's do fly for everything. Ooh, I can change how fast or slow the animation is. What if I do slow? Also, one thing I already love in Linux is when you pick up a window, you get this different cursor, the one that points to different directions. I think this makes so much sense. I would love for this to happen on Windows and macOS once you pick up a window, because right now you just get the default arrow cursor. What do we have in accessibility? Eye contrast? That's nice, except the icons are not super nice. Actions? Add desk lights. Create a new launcher. Display settings. Oh, I think this is the right click. Add desktop. Change desktop background. It's here. So you can customize your right click menu, and you can download more things that you can add into your right click menu. That's cool. You can add something that will restart your computer, or you can take a screenshot just from the right click menu. Pretty cool. DaVinci audio adjustment. I should actually try it. Applets. What the hell are applets? The applet will let you add icons and widgets in the taskbar. So it's here probably. These are called applets in Linux. Okay, if I select it and add plus, it should appear here. If I add it again, it briefly appears and disappears. Okay, what about the on-screen keyboard? Oh, this one works. So if I click on it, I will have the keyboard accessible for use with my mouse. Scale. I can quickly change the scale. Never mind. This is mission control. Extensions. I don't have any extensions. If I go to download extensions, transparent panels, G-tile, file your windows as you like. So you can just install a bunch of features into your operating system just like that. That's great. You will leave it for later. Hot corners. I know what hot corners are from macOS, and they're really useful. On macOS, I have this corner set to show my desktop. So if I move my mouse here, it should show the desktop. Okay, panel. Oh, this is where I can customize the taskbar. How can I move these to the middle? Okay, how do I move this green thing? I can configure the menu as well. Use custom icon and label. What if I just do like this? That looks nice. I still haven't figured out. Oh, now it moved to the center. Okay, so it was. Well, never mind. Now everything is in the center and the menus are over there. Preferred application. So this is where you set your default applications. Windows. Buttons layout. How is this classic Mac? Let's just have them on the right. Action on title bar, double click. Toggle maximum. Exactly what I want. Action on title bar, middle click. So if I middle click with my mouse button, nothing happens. Minimize? Can I close? Toggle shade, toggle minimize? No, I can only minimize. I would like to close with the middle click. Action on title bar with mouse scroll. Shade and unshade, adjust opacity. Oh, I can make them more or less visible. I'm not sure why would I want that, but that's there. I love that when you hover over a setting, it just explains what it is without me having to Google it. Location of newly opened window. Automatic, cursor, manual, center. Let's do cursor. So now if I launch the terminal, it should appear next to my cursor. Yes, this is so good. Draggable border width. Look at how far the border extends from where I can grab the window. I love that you can customize this. There's a sound for when you close and minimize windows. Okay, let's just enable them. Okay, so those were the settings. So now let's try to actually do something within them. My first idea is to compile a list of things that I would normally do with the computer and try to accomplish it with Linux. So let's try and pull up a text editor, install an application, take a screenshot, create a folder alias. How do you type alias? I think that's it. Crop image, convert image file format, install a game, play the game, use virtual desktops, multitask with keyboard shortcuts, create a folder using the terminal, uninstall a program, and install a file. And I think that's good. Solid 12 tasks. So first, install an application. Now there are a couple of ways to do this, one with the terminal and the other one by using the program manager or software manager. So let's first do it the easy way with the software manager, and then we'll do it the hard way, actually it's not that hard, with the terminal. Let's do GIMP. It's going to be my first time using GIMP. It's essentially open source Photoshop, so let's install it. That was easy. Install application, check. Put emojis. Where's the nerd emoji? Now we have an emoji to put next to each task. So we installed it through the software manager, and now I can look for it, GIMP, and open it. That actually started up faster than Photoshop. Didn't expect that. Next, let's try to install something through the terminal. Let's do something like VLC. So to install something through the terminal, we do sudo apt install and then the program name. I'm pretty sure just putting in VLC will not work, so I still need to figure out what I need to put in for VLC. VLC media player for Ubuntu. Oh, sudo snap install VLC. Does it work? VLC is already the newest version. I think it's already installed. There it is. So let's try another program, like Discord. Discord install Linux. Well, that's the third way, I suppose. It's downloading a file with the deb extension, which means Debian, I think. Basically, Linux Mint is from the Debian Linux family, so it should work. Now I download it into my downloads folder, and here it is. If I double click, it should install Discord. Install package. An unhandable error occurred. Can't close this for some reason. What's Alt F4 on Linux? How do you force quit something? Let's add force quit something to our task list. Let's leave this to the side for now until we get back to it, and let's see how to install Discord. Linux Mint stands on the shoulders of giants. It's based on Debian and Ubuntu, so the Debian installer should work. Install package. Same version is already installed. So did it install before and just gave me a random error? Oh, Discord is already here. And there we have Discord, or discordapp.com/app?1273. So we can safely say that we installed an application. Now I want to complete the bonus thing that I added, force quit an app. I'm not sure if this is an app, but it's definitely something that has crashed. So I want to eliminate it from my field of view. Inside of the terminal, type in sudo xkill, then click on any window to kill it. Sudo xkill, select the window whose client you wish to kill with button 1, and it turned into an X cursor. Boy, that was really cool. Take a screenshot. Let's try and look for just a screenshot app. Maybe it exists. Screensaver. No. Oh, screenshot. Take a screenshot, screen, window, or selection. Let's screenshot the calculator. So if I do window, take screenshot, and that's the screenshot. Let's explore what's possible to do in this image app. What if I go into edit? Flip horizontal, vertical, rotate, move to trash, delete, and preferences. So it seems like there's no option to crop an image here, which is something that I would love to see, but I'm pretty sure that there's another Photos app that lets you do that. Site image properties. Name, width, height, type, file size. This is really useful. I'm keeping this on. Okay, solid Photos app. Also, I keep having to right-click and move to trash instead of just being able to delete something, so I'm going to find out a shortcut for deleting files. There are two ways to delete files on Linux. First, you press the delete button. I know, I was in press 2. It doesn't let me though. Oh, let's completely ignore that. Create a folder alias. I'm assuming you can create a new folder with Control-Shift-M, just like on Windows or Mac, and let's try to create an alias. So right-click and sharing options. Properties. It didn't work so well. What if I do it inside of my file manager? It doesn't seem like it's in this right-click menu, but I'm pretty sure that I can customize this right-click. What if I go to properties, permissions, share, emblems? I can add an emblem to a folder? Oh, that's great. Anyway, so how do you make an alias? It seems like all the answers are for making aliases through the terminal, which is fine, but I want to just make it through the file system. Maybe it's a keyboard shortcut. That copies it, shift, that moves it, control copies it as well, control alt shift, control shift, control alt shift. I'm running out of shortcuts. How did I do that? Link to Shrek, so it's called link. I think it was control shift. Yes, it's control shift and then you drag a folder. So if I open this, it should take me to my Shrek folder. And what if I create a folder inside here? So now Shrek 2 should be inside of Shrek as well. Yes, didn't even have to use the terminal. Crop image. So as we've seen before, you can't really crop something inside of the Photos app. Let's actually go into the software manager and look for a different app for photos. If you need a basic tool for image management, consider this. Image viewer and browser. So I have this already, right? Drawing or pics. Oh, this is like Microsoft Paint, and there's a crop tool immediately there. Boink, completely cropped. Look at it now. Convert image file format to another format. Now you can very easily do this on macOS with the right-click menu, so let's see how hard it's going to be on Linux. I'm assuming I can just do that within the Drawing app. If I do file save as, I should be able to do a different format, right? I mean, I can type in a different extension, but I'd like to choose. Whoa. Okay, so is it actually JPEG now? Type JPEG. Oh, so I just had to change the file name extension that it's going to be saved for. Not the way I imagined it would go, but look at the masterpiece that we created. Install a game. Let's pick a game that doesn't have anti-cheat, something like, I don't know, Minecraft. Let's try Minecraft. Should I try and install Archfile? I downloaded the file once again. Install package. Continue. Same version already installed. And that's it. I should have Minecraft. Let's put the masterpiece under saving. I mean, it's setting everything up, so that's pretty good. And I think we're in Minecraft launcher. While it's downloading, let's explore some more mouse cursor options. DMZ Black. How does this one look? Looks good. Oh, so we have successfully installed the game. Okay, let's try to play the game. Now, I have to say, playing Minecraft wasn't an issue on Linux, but screen recording it was a horrible nightmare. Look at this. What is that? What are all of these weird artifacts? I can't even see anything. Now I did this with an app called Simple Screen Recorder, and you may have noticed that in different parts of the video there are these weird artifacts. I guess the screen recorder is so simple it just records a blob. And after trying a bunch of different settings with the Simple Screen Recorder, I decided to try and use good old OBS, which is essentially a go-to screen recording software for Windows. That one was even worse. Trying to record any gameplay footage on Linux either gives me this weird mess or just a single frame like this for the whole recording. So that's that. But the game itself works great. So Minecraft worked, but I wasn't able to show it. Use virtual desktops. Now we're getting to the fun stuff. I'm pretty sure you can switch virtual desktops with Control Alt and right and left arrow. Oh, they're called workspaces. Let's do Control Alt and up, which should reveal them, and I can add more and switch between them. Now I'm wondering what happens if I have two Firefox windows like this, and then I put one of them inside my first workspace, and I switch between them with Control Tab. No. So if you use Control Tab, you'll only be able to see apps that are open within this workspace. If I switch to my first workspace, I can now see all of the apps that are open in this workspace. So they're essentially completely separated, which is pretty cool. And we used virtual desktops. Multitask with keyboard shortcuts. Well, this can mean a variety of different things. What I meant here was snapping windows and also opening and switching between apps with the keyboard. So I'm assuming the Windows key or the super key and the right arrow snaps, the left one also snaps, the top one, oh, why does it do this? I never use this. I always maximize to the top. So now when I want to maximize a window, I have to press not once but twice. Hopefully I can change this somehow in settings. Let's see. Not that big of a deal. So essentially the super key or the Windows key and arrow keys snap windows to different places of your screen, and if you just press the super key, you get the taskbar. Now what's kind of surprising to me is how fast this works, especially coming from Windows. I can type in anything and it's essentially instant. It's not as powerful as Alfred or Spotlight on macOS. However, I'm pretty sure that there's an app out there for Linux that has a similar set of features like Alfred. It's essentially like a universal search bar that opens different apps, files, does calculations, and even searches Google. Can I do quick calculations here? No. So yeah, I will probably search for an app similar to Alfred that adds that feature. There's no way it doesn't exist. Also, I'm aware that tiling window managers exist, which basically let you switch between different apps with only keyboard shortcuts. For example, something like Super F would take me to Firefox and so on. But I'm not going to try one out for this video. Create a folder using the terminal. I know how to do this on macOS, so hopefully it works the same on Linux. At least I think it should. Let's do ls, which means list, to see where the hell I am in my file system. I'm pretty sure this is the user folder. Let's double check. Or maybe it's the home folder. It has all of these listed out. So let's create a folder on the desktop. Let's first go into the desktop. So cd for change directory, and then desk. There's autocomplete. Very nice. So now I'm on my desktop, and to create a new folder, I'm pretty sure it's mkdir for make directory. It's a fancy name for a folder, and let's name it Shrek. How long ago did I make the terminal video? 3 months ago, and I still haven't forgot this. Very nice. Uninstall a program. Let's install something so that I can uninstall something. Let's do Obsidian, and it's installed. So the first way to uninstall something is straight from the software manager. I can just click remove. That's the first way. The second way is to go into your start menu or the Linux menu, right click and choose uninstall. The third way, I'm pretty sure there are more ways, is of course by using the terminal. I'm going to say sudo, which is essentially run as administrator. apt, this is the package manager. Think of it like the software manager where you can install a bunch of apps, but there are just hundreds, if not thousands more apps that you can install to it. Then for installing something, you would say install, but to uninstall, let's do remove, and I'm going to paste in the Obsidian. Never mind. Let's just try Obsidian. Maybe that works. I'm pretty sure it won't work. Yes, unable to locate package Obsidian. If you want to bring up the same command that you pasted in before, just click the up arrow and it's back. I'm not sure how to find out a name of a package without going into the software manager and then looking for the app that you installed, and here's the name, where of course I could use Google, and then I'm pretty sure it's this name that I need to paste in here. Obsidian. Does this work? Unable to locate. I'm pretty sure there's a way, but I'm just going to uninstall it by right-clicking and choosing uninstall. There it is. It's no longer here. Install a font. Let's do the Vsauce font. You can place the font files somewhere under user share fonts. So let's first open this one and extract the font file. Can I search for directories here? No. So /user is probably here. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's called the root folder. User share, right click, open as root, basically means open as administrator, I'm pretty sure. And if I put it here, the font should be installed. So if I type something here, I should be able to go here and choose the Vsauce font, which means that I installed it successfully. Beautiful. Check and access clipboard history. I'm not sure this is possible, so I'm immediately going to Google it. The clipboard has no history by default, but you can add a clipboard manager like clipped on the system. Let's try copy Q. Okay, it's installing a lot of things. By the way, on Windows, you can access your clipboard by pressing Windows V on your keyboard. It's also where you can find the nerd emoji. Cinnamon just crashed. You're currently running fallback mode. I'm going to try to log out and log back in and see if this is resolved. Oh, weird application. Oh, Cinnamon just crashed. So something's up with this clipboard app, which I'm probably going to uninstall. It's also super cool that when the operating system crashes, I can still use it somehow. On Windows, everything would go white and I couldn't press it. So let's look for another clipboard manager. Let's try Parcel app. Okay, installing stuff through the terminal is kind of convenient. And so it has an option to install itself. Oh, that's my clipboard. I'm an idiot. Let's see, if I click on this one, it should... Oh, it just copies the thing I clicked. Okay, and with that, we are finished. So how's my Linux experience? Well, apart from some screen recording issues, everything went pretty smooth. Of course, I haven't even dipped my toes into the Linux world, haven't even tried a bunch of the apps like tiling window managers or different workflows. I just peeked my head in a little bit. But from the basic tasks that I've done, I can safely say that if you're not planning to record any gameplay footage, you don't use any Adobe software or anything else that's not available on Linux, then for the average person who spends most of their time inside of their browser anyway, I don't see why Linux is a bad option. It just takes a little bit of getting used to, just like every OS out there. And so right now, my favorite desktop operating system is Arch Linux. Is considered to be one of the hardest operating systems to install. You get a black screen called a console, and you have to configure your whole operating system by using text commands. A few days ago, I installed what's considered to be one of the easiest operating systems to install. You just click next a bunch of times, and I still managed to erase my entire hard drive. There she goes. So naturally, after that experience, I decided to immediately go for the final boss, Arch Linux. There are a couple of things to know before we start. There's an easy way to install it by using what's called an Arch install script. That's obviously for noobs, so I'm not going to use that. But since I don't have this thing, I can't record my screen when it's in this black mode. So I'll be installing Arch Linux inside of a virtual machine, which is like a virtual computer inside my computer, so that I can record it. And later, if I manage not to rage quit, what? I'll install it on my actual PC. So let us begin. First things first, I'm going to Google Arch Linux and go into their website to find the installation guide and also to download the ISO file, which I'll need to install the operating system. Let's go into download, and I can download it with torrents, or I believe there's another way. I'm going to click on the worldwide link, and I need the ISO file. It's 1.1 gigabytes, so this is going to take some time. Now, while it's downloading, the next thing I would need if I wasn't installing this in a virtual machine is called Balena Etcher. It's basically a software that can put this ISO file onto a USB stick that I would then need to plug into my computer and then go into my computer BIOS by smashing the delete key on my keyboard while the computer restarts, then choose the boot menu and boot into that USB. But I will not need to do this because I'm trying to install Arch Linux inside of a virtual machine. I'm not going to close out of my browser because I'm going to need the installation guide from the Arch Linux website and also probably a tutorial on YouTube. Installation guide. Oh. This is going to be interesting. So then I set up my virtual machine, the computer inside my computer I was talking about, and I was ready to start the installation. So here I have my virtual machine set up. I gave it 10 gigabytes of RAM, 6 processor cores, and 69 gigabytes of storage. Very nice. So let's begin the procedure. Oh, there we are. I'm going to move the machine over here, and I'll have the tutorials on the left. So here I'm inside the boot menu. This is where you would get if you plugged in the USB into your computer. It would spawn in, essentially. So I'm going to choose the first option. Oh, welcome to Arch Linux. Interesting. By the way, I've not read a single word of the documentation here. 1.1. Acquire an installation image. That's the ISO file. Step 1.2. Verify signature.